What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Lost Records Journal Play One This was Lost Records Focus Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, the Judge
Yes.
Riaz, and I have my Eagles / Ravens /
I'm Johnny
Pineapple.
Falcatron.
Yes, there we go. He's introduced himself. Thank you very much. We have Johnny Falcatron's twin brother.
Yes. I am here. I am a nasally white guy that also is a little bit insane. So I am best of both worlds.
Indeed, you are the best of both worlds, which is always a good
Yes.
thing, and we always like the best of both worlds. Just like Johnny Galvatron, he's a twin brother, but from a different mother and from a different continent, which is always
Yeah,
a good thing.
where his toilets go the other way.
Indeed, they are
Yes.
swirling the wrong way. But yes, thank you for joining us. We are back for episode 35. This is our first episode after the Olivia Lepore episode. Obviously, Don't Know Montreal's had layoffs, which is absolute heartbreaking news as well. And we'll pick that up in our next StrangeCast episode after the Patreon exclusive ones that we've done. But this is a Patreon exclusive episode, so we are focusing on questions that have come in via Patreon for this podcast. For context as well, we are changing the tier next month as well, where it's a Lost Records Journal X StrangeCast episode. So it's basically going to be StrangeCast Patreon exclusive, but it's going to combine everything. So it's going to include all Lost Records elements and all the other stuff. So if you're wondering, it's basically we're going to record for the same length, but we're just going to split it down the middle. So you're not going to get any different in terms of content. It just means that we don't put it on separate podcasts. It's a lot more efficient, trust me, on that. So we'll just be doing that. But anyway, we've decided to keep the tier as it is for the same for this month, but we're going to change it up for next month, and it'll just be the same as it is. But we're back for this. So obviously, before we start as well, if you are new here, please do consider dropping a subscribe on the channel, turn notifications, like the video. We're almost at 2,000 subscribers. If you do not like the video, you know what's going to happen.
What's that?
You know what's going to happen.
Ah.
Gertie and her boys are going to come over and they're going to smash into you, and they're going to send you flying. That's what's going to happen. So make sure you like
terrible.
the video.
I don't want that.
Well, yeah, exactly. So make sure you do that.
Okay.
And also as well, do you know what as well? I actually literally just had a moment. There was a question on Kevin's episode, the Strange Cat one that we didn't actually answer. I was like, completely forgot about it. I was like, it completely flew on my head. I was like, hang on a minute. I was like, I had a theory for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's my fucking moment of shock there. Anyway, let's continue. Yeah, Lost Records Journal is available on all podcast services, so you can check us out on Spotify with the video version, Apple Podcasts, so go and check us out there. Spotify has the video version. We have 38 5-star ratings, so thank you so much for that. We have 164 followers on the Lost Records Journal, which is amazing, so thank you so much for that. So do go and check us out there, go and follow us. You get instant access to the episodes as soon as they become available, and you can rate us as well and boost our visibility for that. So Adam, we are back for a Patreon episode. We are going to focus specifically on the Patreon questions. No one asked about the Don't Know Montreal layoff, so they're not going to be put in here. We'll pick that up in the next episode, as I said, for the podcast episode. There is a lot to talk about that, including the future of the series.
Or there's a
etc.
whole fireside AA about that too.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Adam came in gate crashing with his tank top. He came in Corey coded with his top. That's what he did. Just realized that now as well. It's like very Corey. I think I actually mentioned
that. Yeah, losers. And I just come in with tank top. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, ooh, like this. So, yes, we're going to be doing this episode. So, mainly, we actually focus all Kevin's stuff on StrangeCast, barring missing out his theory question, which apologies for that, Kevin. It skipped my mind there. But we did that for Kevin, and we moved all some Lost Records stuff over for that episode. For this, we are going to focus mainly on Gordberry Media's questions because they asked a lot of them. Or Gordberry, sorry. Am I messing something up here? Have I messed this up?
Goodberry, I believe, yeah.
Oh, so it's Gordberry Media that I got off the public domain thing that I've got, but then their username is Gordberry, which I think is a bit of a twist here. So I'm going to pull it up because this is the Gordberry special, as it's going to be. And they asked this question, so we're going to work our way through them, Gordberry, because you said as well, like, you have to choose all of them, but we're going to pick a lot of them. So as you can see here as well, Gordberry's put a comment here saying, hope you guys are having a good day. We are. Thank you very much. Hope you're having a good day as well. I've been a little bit obsessed with theory crafting and speculation since playing through the game and have quite a few series of questions. So if you can't get through them all, I understand. Don't worry, we've got an hour here, so let's see what we can get through them. Assuming the Abyss is a physical place, how do you think time passes down there? After 27 years, do you think it feels short like minutes or like an eternity? We'll come on to the next part of that afterwards. So Adam, the Abyss. So let me just run through that again.
Definitely a question for Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'll tell you that much. on
It
Star
is an
Talk.
interesting question, that.
Yes.
So,
Um, you want to go?
no, I was going to just say, reading it for you again for that part of the question. Assuming the abyss is a physical place, how do you think time passes down there after 27 years? Do you think it feels like a short time of minutes or like an eternity?
Yeah,
Which
I'm
I would
going to.
probably say,
Y Yeah, like, I'm gonna butcher this explanation, but, again, Star Talk with Neil deGrasse Tyson, definitely, shoot him that question.
mhm,
Um, but yeah, I if it works anything like the, black hole theory, that if you go into space, that and Interstellar talks about this too, that there's certain planets, there's certain, galaxies within our times that if you go into those, galaxies, and because time time will work differently outside of that space. If you're out there for an hour but then come back, it's like 50 years on earth, and like time passes for you as aging for only an hour, but for them it aged for 50 years. So
mm.
there is like an actual explanation for that, but I'm butchering it because I'm dumb. But
I'm gonna I'll add my really bad version in here as well, which is Alien 2, where it's like Sigourney Weaver waking up
yes.
from cryostasis, and it's like her daughter's aged, and it's like,
Mhm. See, yeah, that's a different thing, that she was in a cryostasis, and that's why time went forward for that. But there was actually like you're not even in cryostasis. Like you'll
yeah,
be on a planet fully awake, but because time passes differently. That's in a different universe, different galaxy. But because the abyss is also an unearthly object, but it's still in our main atmosphere. Um, like that would be a little bit different. I don't know how that would work if it's in our same atmosphere, our same planet, because you can't. If you go into the ocean, like into the depths of the ocean, like going to the Marianas Trench, like time will pass in the same way that it does on Earth, right? So, like if you look
yeah,
at the Marianas Trench, although no one's been down there, so the longest recorded depth was 11,000 feet, I wanna
mm,
say. So deep into the ocean, but the Marianas Trench is the deepest that we've gone. And I know Meg 2, like, dived really into, or even, Deep Blue Sea, like, kind of dived into that. The Marianas Trench is always a thing. But time will still pass in the same way because it's still in our galaxy, it's still in our atmosphere, but below the Marianas Trench, who knows how time, goes into. So
mm,
I don't know if the abyss would actually go into, like, we're talking about like a scientific premise here, that because we're in our same atmosphere, our same galaxy, our same black hole, our same thing, but it's on Earth with the abyss, I think time would still pass in the same way, right? It all depends. So, like, again, I would definitely love to hear on Star Talk like that theory.
no, it's interesting to hear that, because even in the second part of the question I actually included, it says, and if Kat and Corey have been down there the whole time, have they aged at all? And if you think about the game as well, during the shadow silhouettes that appear, that
Mhm.
Michelle obviously said that it's actually appearing. There's only three times, like there's only three different characters that appear of it that I know of, at least, where it's adult Swan, Cat, and Corey in those physical, like, the silhouettes. And if you think about the end of the game as well, where you have that recording where it shows Cat as well, and Michelle's like, look at the ending again, look at what's happening there as well. Like, Cat has long hair. So it's like,
Mhm.
hang on a minute. And even when you see Cat as well at the abyss, she has her hair long.
Yeah.
She doesn't have the short hair of it. So for me, I think you probably live in eternity. I think you basically, when you go into the abyss, you live there, and you don't age at all, because, as you said, it's a portal. Because, like, even with Swan at the end of the game, when she walks up to it, Cat is the exact same. It's not older Cat. It's not adult Cat.
Yeah.
It's just
It could
Cat
be
as it is.
Yeah, it could be a wormhole, if anything else. So there's the
Exactly.
black holes, is wormhole, and it could be a wormhole into a different dimension, and then you could be in a cryostasis of sorts. Um Yeah, I don't think really Michelle is coded in sci-fi. So the difference between science fiction and science fantasy is that science fantasy is not based on real science. Therefore,
Hmm.
Star Wars is science fantasy. How do lightsabers work? I don't know, space. Whereas science fiction is Star Trek. It always bases itself on science. I see Michel Coe writing in science fantasy, and that's not an insult to his writing. I just think that he is more of the metaphor rather than the explanation.
Stephen King style.
Yes, exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's the best way of looking at it, because I don't think, like, in itself as well, like the characters, like when they're going in there, or who's in there as it is,
Mhm.
they're obviously age coded. So as I said, like that ending tells you a lot about where Kat is in her age, where she's at. We didn't see an adult Kat, because that's the big question of it. There's obviously theories about Kat being a witch as well, with like all the different witchcraft related items you can find about her, and even like the curse and the spell and all the other stuff. So for me, you're gonna live like that. I think
Sorry. Oh, I said 11,000 feet. I meant 11,000 meters. Meters. 11,000 meters is the Mariana Trench. 36,000 feet, but
Mhm.
11,000 meters.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
still, Jesus Christ, that's low.
Yeah.
Um,
Just wanted to put that out there. Like I said feet, but I like let's correct it. It's 11,000 meters.
no, but it's a good thing the comparison bring up, because I think time doesn't move there. I think it's just at that it's just constantly
Mhm.
with something. I think it's like you are stuck there, and time will move everywhere else, but for everything else, for that place, it's the same.
Mhm.
Like, it's just a hole, isn't it, with whatever is in there. So I think these
Yeah.
characters, if someone does end up going in there, i.e. humans, you'll stay the same age as it. So it wouldn't surprise me if somehow that these characters pop out in some like future entry or something, they're still the same age.
Mhm.
Um, so like it feels very Stephen King coded in some kind of way, where you see, for example, oh, it's actually, this is going to be a spoiler, but as you will if you haven't seen it. Do you remember 11/22/63? And do you remember how that ends as well, where he basically comes back to the present, and he
Mhm.
goes and meets the woman that he had like fallen in love with back then, and she's
Yes.
older? Because it seems like that's the kind of thing you'd get with this, where it's like you see a young Corey meeting an
Mhm.
older Dylan at some point, and it's like,
Yes.
because he's been able to come out of the abyss, it's like that's that. So I think maybe there's, again, it's that Stephen King crossover thing, where it's like, yeah, actually, I think those people will stay that age, and
Mhm.
they won't get any older.
Yeah.
But they are two people as well with that. Should we bleed into our next question, actually? Because I think maybe that's a
Yes.
good point to move on to as well from this, because I think this was a kind of connecting onto it from Gordberry in the port. What bind might the abyss have to keep them from leaving, and what sacrifice might be strong enough to free someone like Cat or Swan?
Oh, that's a
Um,
metaphor thing. I don't even know.
with that, what kind of, so again, what bind might the abyss have to keep them from leaving, and what sacrifice might be strong enough to free them? Which I think my current thing that I had was that the bind that is keeping them is that I think that, for example, these are the first two people that we know of that have fallen in the abyss, because the abyss has come about in the game via what was happening in terms of the curse, etc., etc. And I do think that those two characters that are in there at the moment, before Swan enters, which is a Corey and Cat, it gives it a morality complex, so it's good and bad. So it has
Yeah.
like a morality of like pure good, pure bad. It's almost like, angel versus devil, and the abyss is the god for the metaphor. Or maybe Swan's god. She's my
Mm.
god. Um, I think the only thing that gets someone out there is human sacrifice. Because
Yeah.
think about the end of the game as well. The game sets up as well. She's like, what does Swan say? I'll find you. So she's gone
Yes.
into the abyss.
Mhm.
Maybe that's the ultimate sacrifice that someone takes for it. You have to sacrifice something to, as I said before, when we look at the game, it always gives you something, but it takes away from return, and it depends on the
Yeah.
weight of what you're putting in there. And I think I made very early theory when this game was coming out. I said to you, I was like, I think maybe that someone throws themselves into like save Cat or something. That could be an option, where it's to give her life. So it wouldn't surprise me if, for example, if someone wants to live or someone wants to get out, you have to throw someone else in there. Very
Mm.
Hellraiser esque. Clive Barker
Yes. Yeah.
sacrifice the souls to bring back someone from hell, as they do with Frank as well. What a film that is! I might watch that tonight. Actually, great
Yeah.
film.
I think that's my only theory. Like you have to sacrifice another person, like it's human sacrifice. Yeah.
Yeah, because what else is going to get someone out there? What else
Yeah.
can you equally throw in there? Maybe your pineapple
Cigarettes.
slices might get
Yeah.
them out there. They all come running out. They're like,
Pineapple
look at this."
cigarettes. Yeah. Pineapple cigarettes. Some
Wouldn't it
Newports. Yeah.
wouldn't it be funny if the abyss just turned into a giant pineapple afterwards? It'd be like, oh, great. That's just
Yeah.
like, instead of a hole, it's just a pineapple leaning against the wall. I'm like, great.
Let's go.
Um, Actually, do you know what? That could be the next game. It could seal the abyss. You put a giant pineapple over it.
Was it like Donut County? You haven't played Donut County yet, have you?
No, and
Dude, Donut County's so good. You should play it.
yeah, right. I'm going to get onto that, but yeah,
It's
I
also
think
about
that's
things
been.
falling in holes. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Mm.
Dude, you would love, I'm telling you right now, it's also another 2-hour game. You would absolutely love Donut County. Like, you would absolutely love Donut County. Like, stamp of approval.
I'm gonna have to pick it up. But at the moment, I am on the
Yes, that's my
beach.
thing
That's
too.
where I am.
Yes.
You'll find me on the beach. So we're currently preoccupied. No, good. It's a good shout that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that's where I stand on the abyss for the time being. I'm gonna keep going through these as well from Gordberry, and it's could Corey have had time to reflect and redeem himself in any way, or would he remain consumed by rage? Um, which I think we can focus on Corey because we actually had a lot of focus on Corey leading up through the game and then even up
Mm.
to the release and then even during the tapes and stuff. Again, I think it could play out that scene where he comes out of the abyss at some point in the future and he meets an aging Dylan, and then there's
Mm.
time to reflect of him being a douchebag and what he was like. I also think that he could go out of control and he could also be even more of a douche in the abyss as the morality complex of a nasty human being as he is. He could
Yes.
also dictate that from the abyss with the power that it gives him, among many other things. Um, Now, the big question there is as well. Where was it? I'm having that. And that would he be? Would he remain consumed by rage, Adam?
Um, yeah, I think that like he would have a lot of time to like really think and reflect and also gain revenge also at the same
Yeah.
time. Like he could become like something
Ooh.
that it could consume him in the depths of the abyss. Yeah.
Ooh, see, I like that revenge element as well with him.
Mhm.
If he even if people say he turned cartoonish and one dimensional stuff, if you wanted to go down that route, you could turn him into the full revenge mechanic. That could be the full revenge mechanic of the abyss that controls it with his like
I
desire
mean,
for
did you see
revenge.
that? Did you see the leak that came out about like Corey in the next game?
No.
Yeah, no, there was a leak that said like I'm surprised you didn't see it. There's a leaked image from Don't Know Montreal of like what Corey will
Oh.
look like when he comes out of the abyss.
It's pretty much that.
Yeah, that's a leaked image. So like you're seeing exclusively here Corey coming out of the abyss.
That's him at the Mikaelsen ranch. Where he's like, I've sold all those deers. It's like, ha 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 ha. Um, yeah, I see him being. I see there's two options where you could like go down that 11/22/63 route where it's like he comes out younger, meets Dylan as an older person, tries to show some kind of remorse and what kind of person he is and how different he is, having been stuck in a perpetual cycle that he is in the abyss, or he becomes even more villainous and he becomes the pure embodiment of shit. I think that could also be a thing, and I think the revenge mechanic could drive another game because if it's revenge, you could also drive it on Swan, Autumn, and Nora because you can use that as a story focus for the game. Because
Yeah,
why else would he do that? Who threw him in the abyss? It's either Cat, Swan, or obviously all the girls, or even Dylan, for example. Dylan could get put in that firing line as well with the variation of the ending. So I think it gives you an interesting story to fall off it. But I do like that idea actually, with the revenge mechanic being something that falls with him. Because then obviously with Kai it could just be, stopping Corey at
yeah.
all costs. So very, very interesting thoughts with that. So I'm going to continue as well from God Berry. And here we go. So Adam, while I do agree Bloomer Rage is a great standalone, I would really like to see a continuation of the girls' storyline in some way. Do you think the next installment will follow new characters? I'll
Yes,
pull up the next part in a
absolutely.
minute.
100%. 100,000% it's going to be new characters.
Bring back Olivia Lepore and Andrea
It's
Carr
not
and
Michelle's
Amelia.
style. Michelle just likes to move on from things. He likes he might introduce the characters back in, but he likes to just like move on from other characters.
Yeah. See, obviously, you have like Dave Madsen thing in like Life is Strange 2, but that's just part of the story. It wouldn't
Like even
surprise
look at
me.
like Captain Spirit and Life is Strange too. They are in the same game, but he just like moved on from Chris. He's like, all right, done with Chris. Moving on to the next ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I could see him doing a thing where those characters now are in their adults, and then you meet a new group of teens. So it starts crossing over. So they basically take the supporting roles. So Swan, Nora, Cat, Autumn. Well, Nora, Autumn, and Swan and Dylan can be supporting characters as adults, and
Yes.
then your main characters are young teens again in some kind of way, shape, or form. So you start. It'd be like mixtape with like adults that appear in there from the
Mhm.
like if you did mixtape 2, you'd have the adult version. And it wouldn't surprise me if they went down the anthology route because obviously Oxenfree did that with elements. If you play the games as well as you can see the way it plays out. Um, I do hope that they do use new characters as well because I think like there's a dynamic for it. But I think with that new character dynamic, you can resolve other things that have been happening from the first game, for example. Because I think
Mhm.
that Swan can still be there in the adult form, and same with Nora, and same with Autumn, same with Dylan. And then obviously, if the Abyss has Cat in it, Cat's back. So like
Yeah.
and Corey's back as well. So you're gonna have characters. So I think as a wider universe picture, I think this is setting up for those characters to return for me.
Mhm.
It'd have to be left field where like Michel goes to France instead, and he's like picking out 4 random characters, and then you can't cross it over or something. It seems like it's setting up for those characters to appear because it feels like Velvet Cove will be the Twin Peaks hub that we have, and the
Mhm.
Abyss is there. The Abyss hasn't moved, has it? It's in one place.
Yeah.
So it's
Yes.
gonna it's gonna it's gonna be set in Velvet Cove, and it's gonna have those characters there. So it's
Mhm.
gonna have to be like I think it's a new cohort character. So I think it'll be interesting because I think you might strip the 90s nostalgia element of the story, but
Mhm.
then you'll have like a story that's set from 2030 with young kids who are there and they find the abyss, and then from there, obviously
Mhm.
Swan comes out with a 90s camcorder, and those kids are like, "What's that you got in your hand, lady?"
Yeah.
And he's like, and I'm like, "Thank you, Michelle, for making me feel older by pointing out
Yes.
that these young 20, 30 kids, 20, 30, 40 kids, whatever the year they are, they don't know
Yeah.
what a camcorder is." I'm like, cheers for that.
Mm.
Yeah, I think they'll return in some capacity, but I think they'll play supporting character roles rather than main characters. I don't think Swan Holloway will be the main protagonist of the next game from early prediction. But I think she could easily play a very big role in another capacity.
Mm. Yeah. No, she definitely could. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, let's pull up God's message 'cause I think that was a continuation from there as well from God. That and it was here where I'm up to now. I'm rolling everywhere. Yes, there. I think it will be interesting to see how Nora and Autumn follow up with the fact that Swan goes missing at the end of the
Mm.
first game. Now, that is an interesting point because that is a way you can probably start moving around the different endings. Because obviously, we have different endings we're dealing with here. Again, going to the point what you made, where you said that Michelle just moves on from games because it's like then you start messing with player agency and destruction. But that's also a potential where you can start setting up things, but where you basically have mainly Nora, Autumn, and Dylan as your main supporting
Mm.
characters. Swan, Cat, and Coria in the Abyss.
Mm.
And then you could have a new quartet of characters. And then you could tell the story via those 4 characters meeting Nora and Autumn, having different
Yeah.
experiences with them because they don't live together. They're
No.
not close anymore. They're not doing the band thing as they are. And you could easily move Autumn and Nora back to Velvet Cove in some capacity.
Yeah, I think like Autumn and Nora like talking to the next generation of characters, but yeah, I just don't see it happening. I don't think
No.
it's just not Michelle's style. Like Michelle just likes to like make a new character in the same universe and maybe have them make a cameo or whatnot, like have it like
Yeah.
within the same universe. But Michelle has already said this wants to be an anthology. It's already like put out that like his role is like he wants this to be an anthology.
Did he say
Uh
that?
I think he did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like I'm 80% sure he said the words anthology.
I think from what I remember as well, they said that it was going to be a universe. I
The
don't think they've ruled out
universe
the idea of doing a
franchise.
direct
Yeah.
sequel, though.
But yeah, that's the thing. Just like Life is Strange 2 was a direct sequel. We got to with Arcadia Bay into Life is Strange 2. And like there was mention of Jefferson in Captain Spirit, right? There's connections,
Yeah.
but like I don't think like I think Michelle likes to do an anthology style. I don't think he like to follow the same characters. He gets bored.
I think just more smartly would be it can be its own story that they can tell, but enough to start tying things together. So, for example, if you look at that map of Velvet Cove, the
Mhm.
Mikaelsen Ranch is still a location on that, and Dylan will run that when she's older. So it's like
Yes.
it's a strategic hub, and you can still tell this new story, this new anthology story, i.e., for example, Life is Strange 2 esque, but then you have the elements of like Dave Madsen coming in and having those kind of connections to the first game.
Mhm.
I think those will always be cameo characters. So I think like Dylan, Autumn, Nora can all be cameo characters. I think Swan
Mhm.
will still stay as an important character, having been in the Abyss with Kat and
Yes.
Corey. But I think those are connection points that you can start to connect. So it wouldn't surprise me if you go to the Dylan, it's the Mikaelsen ranch, and then it's like, oh, Dylan's there, and she's like, then you kind of get a vibe off who she is because of what the events of the first game are. Because obviously it's going to be these teens stumbling on this hole amid everything else, and it's going to go down that route. So maybe that, or you do go down the route and he surprises everyone. And he's like, "Screw you, Adam! I'm writing a sequel here," and it's like
I
you
would
pulled it
love to
out.
see that. I would love to see a finally a Michelle Coe direct sequel. Would love to see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it would be very interesting. I think he just knows how difficult it is with like the agency they give players for each of the games and the choices they make. So
Mhm.
um, it is very difficult. So I'm going to go into here. I think we're coming to the end of Gord's question, and I'm going to pull this one up. See, we've got all your questions here. Don't worry about that. We've covered
Yeah.
them all. Um, yes, and then there are definitely more speculations I have, but they involve having more Velvet Cove. Thanks for discussing whatever you select. So yeah, we're at the end of that. Um,
Mm.
Velvet Cove, then actually, let's take on that because they didn't. God didn't put their theories on Velvet Cove, but for Velvet Cove, is that staying the setting of this game for the next one?
Well, I think we did see something that say like the abyss could pop up anywhere. And I think Michelle said in that Discord conversation that the abyss is global. Like you can't just like it doesn't just stay. Or he said like it's about this particular abyss, right?
Yeah.
He did say the words like
Mm,
this particular abyss. So the abyss could pop up anywhere. So if you looked at the movie Arrival, do you remember that movie? With
yes.
Amy
Yes, I do.
Adams, where it focused on one of the landings in Arrival,
Mhm.
but it was all over the world. It was all over
Yeah.
there, but we have focused on one. So we could see something like that where there is an arrival of these abyss holes, and we could go somewhere else in America or somewhere in Canada. Like it could be
Yeah.
like a Canadian game finally. Um, but yeah, like there's a lot of possibilities with this, of like where it could take place. It could stay in Velvet Cove, but
Yeah.
again, talking about Life is Strange 1 and Life is Strange 2, like we visited Arcadia Bay,
Yeah.
but it was a setting that was different. So
Yeah.
I think I think more likely though, I think they wanted to be in Velvet Cove because
Yeah.
talking about game development, they have the assets, they
Yeah.
have the know-how. And right now, Donut is in kind of a financial sticky situation that they
Yeah.
could just put out another game sooner rather than later. So if they stick to the same assets and stick to Velvet Cove,
Yeah.
I think we could see it in Velvet Cove again.
And also as well, like with Life is Strange, the big decision they made was that you destroy the town, so it makes it very difficult to go back for future games. So it's like
Mhm.
with Arcadia Bay, you have to move on from it. I know it's a different story, Life is Strange, but you have to move on from it because it's like in one of those agency endings, you destroyed it. So like you, otherwise you'd have to make different branching paths and then
Yes.
go from there. So obviously in Life is Strange 2, you have that scene where you know it shows Arcadia Bay and you can see like if it's destroyed or not, depending on your choice. And it's like great, but like with this, Velvet Cove exists, and I'm gonna ask you this because you know this better. Obviously, I was watching a lot of those interviews with Michel, and when he was talking about the map of like Twin Peaks, and then he was saying like the map that they're doing for Velvet Cove, it feels like this game is more closer to Twin Peaks than Life is Strange. Just the way he's talking about it.
Yes, 100%. Like this game is what he wanted from
Yeah,
Twin Peaks like adventure. So, and I say that about like really anything about any artist. They have a vision to start with, and they need to
yeah,
make that journey to make that vision come to life. Again, I'm writing this album for Cast Garden. I'm like, this is the vision that I had since the very beginning, and now I get to make it.
yeah,
So same thing with Michel Coe. He wanted so desperately, Michel Coe to have a Twin Peaks esque kind of game,
yeah.
right? And I think he nailed it with this.
Yeah, he did. I think you've hit on the nail on the head there. I think that sums it up. And then on top of that, because as you said, it's very more Twin Peaks esque than Life is Strange. I think that gives him the foundation hope for keeping this as the central location, and this is where the stories are told. So it's Velvet Cove has expanded universe and you can add things to it. So when we take these new characters, it doesn't have to be all these locations. It's some of them, but we can set up a new area in Velvet Cove and we go from there with the story. So I mean, like, naturally, it feels like we're going to stick with Velvet Cove. And I would like them to do that as well, because I think they established something there and they can only make it better as well with future games. So yeah, I'm interested to see what goes on from it. And obviously, I think we'll do an episode on the layoffs and stuff. So we'll talk more about the sequel and many other things. So those are all the questions from Patreon. So thank you, God, for those as well. Again, as I said as well, when we do the crossover episode next month, please do leave any questions. We greatly appreciate topics. Whatever you want to talk about, let us know. These are Patreon built in mine. And it can be as many topics as you want. We'll work our way through as many as we possibly can. If you don't want to ask questions, that's perfectly fine. Just your Patreon support is always greatly appreciated for what it is. So thank you so much for that. Adam, yes. Rage Records. Rage Records. I think we pick up 2 comments because we're a lot sooner on time as well. And I thought these would be 2 good ones. So this is on our Olivia Lepore interview. So thank you so much for that. And I think people as well have pointed out that the line that Olivia was trying to remember in the clip, which was sup home skillet, because she was trying to remember on the phone what's happening. Yes. So that's a shout out to everyone. But thank you for the great comments, because it's amazing. Olivia had absolute blast. So I'm going to bring up in Jan's here, Adam, as well, because I think this is a good way to start with Rage Records. They put, okay, I absolutely love this interview with Olivia. I loved the Ashland X question about Taylor Swift's tracks for Swan's relationship. And it's so cool Olivia picked one for Swan's potential relationship with Dylan 2. Since she didn't name it in throwing my pick out, since she didn't name it, I'm throwing out my pick here. The one from Folklore, the line.
Yes.
The one from Folklore.
It's spelled, I'm pretty sure the one is spelled O-N-E, like it's actually spelled the one.
Oh, is it? Let's have a quick double check this here.
There you go, in Jace from Folklore.
No, it actually is the one. THE1.
Oh yeah.
That's how it's spelled.
There you go.
Apologize.
I will not. I never will. Never.
I'm sorry, in Jans. We're going to throw him in the abyss after this, so don't worry. The line, quote unquote, if one thing had been different, end quote, hits hard. I actually heard this song for the first time during the Eras tour in Arlington, Texas in 2023, when Taylor Swift switched out Invisible String for the one last minute. It was her first time performing the one live, and she was sitting on top of that mossy cabin roof set piece that reminds me of a Fawn's Rest. Not Fawn's Curse, not putting agency here in Jans.
Fawn's Rest is the only correct answer, dude. Fawn's Rest, dude.
Fawn's Rest is for Pansy.
Yeah, like, Fawn's Rest,
Curse is Fawn's Curse gang. Assimilate in the comments. We need to assemble. Yeah. We need to take down these Fawn's Rest bitches. Anyway, it was a very special memory. So thank you for that comment in Jans as well. Adam was clearly wrong there, saying, "Oh, it's just O-N-E." He got called out there for it.
Never apologizing.
I think I did say as well. I think Olivia Lepore would approve of that pick as well.
Absolutely.
And it's very on point.
Great song. Absolutely great song.
Yeah, and the Eras tour in 2023. Geez, how long was the Eras tour that she was doing it for now?
I think it was 2 years. 2 years, 3 years. It was a long tour, dude. It was a long one.
Yeah, it was pretty long, but yeah, do you know what? I think it's probably I think it's like the biggest music tour for me since Michael Jackson was going to do. What was his tour? The final one.
It was called the He tour.
The He tour. What was Michael Jackson's last tour called?
I can't remember.
What he was going to do. This is it.
Is it? This is it? No, that was Justin Bieber, wasn't it?
No, Michael Jackson's This Is It.
Oh,
so it was it was the preparation he was going to do for the final tour, but I think he passed away after it.
Yes.
But then they made the documentary film called This Is It.
Oh, yes.
So I think that's the planned concert.
What was Justin Bieber's tour video? I forget what that one was.
Justin Bieber's tour.
Yeah, Justin Bieber's like movie tour. So it was a film about his tour.
Justice World Tour.
Maybe. I don't know.
That was the 4th concert that he did.
Yeah.
Formerly known as the Changes Tour, the Justin Bieber World Tour.
Yeah, sure. I guess.
Well, yeah.
Fell off after Baby for me. Fell off. Everything else is garbage.
the world does owe an apology. So he has produced some bangers. I'll give him that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good picks though for the Taylor Swift song, and yes, I'm sure Olivia would 100% proof that. And then we'll pull one final comment up, Adam, and then we'll wrap up here. And this is from @JamieO. And they put, thank you for including my questions. You're welcome, and thank you for watching. It really impressed me that the entire dance scene was freestyled. One of my favorite details about it is how natural it looked. So it's really cool. Everyone just came up with their own moves on their fly. I love that you shouted out Ann Arbor,
Ann
as I
Arbor.
visited there last fall and took a hike, and gave me huge Lost Records vibes.
Mhm.
Also to Adam, love that you took the first chance you got to plug Philly to Olivia. Go
Yeah.
Birds.
Go Birds, baby. Let's go. Super Bowl champs right in front of Trumpy.
Of course. So Jamie
Yeah.
O gets full credit there, and then It and Jance, you're like calling It and Jance out. You're not like apologizing. Next time It Jance put Go Birds at the end of your comment, you might
Mhm.
actually like apologize for doing that. But no, thank you for that comment. And yeah, the
Yeah.
ethereal dance and stuff was amazing to hit, and it was an absolute blast speaking to Olivia as well. So I really enjoyed that. So yeah, I think we're at the end here. So this is the end of our Patreon episode. So as I said one more time as well, if you are on our Patreon tier, do please go and submit questions for the next month's episode. We'll put a Patreon post out at some point. You can put anything in their topics, any suggestions, anything else. It can be all kinds of variations of questions. So feel free to put them in there. We'll do it as one collective episode, because we've done it for these two. And also as well, if you don't want to and you're just supporting the Patreon for the sake of it, that's absolutely fine as well, because obviously it's very important for us, for anyone who has signed up to the Patreon. So I think we're done here as well. So thank you for submissions for Rage Records. If you do want to feature on Rage Records, please do drop it in the comments of this episode. We'll pick it out for the next episode. And before we go as well, our shout out as well to our Patreon users. So we have Kevin Lackner, Sundy, Clare McLoughlin, YellowFlash, Jake Churchill, Carly, and Gordberry Media. So thank you so much for signing up to the Patreon and supporting it as well. And for context as well, if you do sign up to the Patreon and made us not shouting you out here, we will shout you out in the next episode, because it's just one of those where I come to the realization with that. Anyway, we're done. So let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'll pick out the next one on Rage Records, and we'll sign off here. So thank you for joining us for the Lost Records Journal. If you are new here, please do consider dropping subscribe to the channel, turn notifications, like this video. If you do not like this video, Adam will not be the one. He'll become a virus like Agent Smith. That's what's going to happen. I will become the one. So yeah, please do like this video, share with your friends, subscribe. You help us get to 2,000 subscribers. It's deeply appreciated. And also as well, the Lost Records Journal is available on all podcast services, Spotify, Apple Podcasts are available and everything. So go and check us out there, rate us, follow us. You get instant access to your episodes as soon as they become available as well. And yeah, it helps boost our visibility as well. So we're done. StrangeCast, you can go and check out as well. The Patreon episode's available. We'll be back next week. I think it's going to be StrangeCast, and obviously we'll be talking about the layoffs and many other things as well. But stay tuned for that, and yeah, we'll see you on the other side. See you later. Bye.